Your father has sold you to me, and you are now my property.
Adeze lay there for a long time. The blood from her cheek pooled on the marble floor, reflecting the moonlight that came through the window. She thought about her mother. She thought about her father. She tried to leave once. It was the 8th month. Chief Odili had gone to Abuja for a week. A real trip, not one of his fake ones where he came back early to catch her doing something wrong. The staff had been given time off. The mansion was empty. Adeze packed a small bag, a few clothes, the little money she had managed to hide, the photograph of her family that she kept under her pillow. She walked to the gate, her heart pounding so loud that she was sure the security guard could hear it. I need to go out, she said, trying to sound calm. The guard looked at her. Madam, Chief said you cannot leave without his permission. Chief is not here, Adeze said, and I am his wife. I am going to see my mother. It is an emergency. The guard hesitated. She could see the conflict in his face. Royalty to the chief versus something softer, something that looked like pity. Please, Adeze whispered. Biko. The guard looked around, then stepped aside. Be back before evening, he said quietly. If he calls, I will tell him you were in the garden. Adeze almost cried with relief. She walked through the gate, down the street, past the mansions and the SUVs and the security cameras. She walked until she found a bus stop, and then she boarded Danfo, heading to Ajegunle. The journey took 2 hours. 2 hours of sweating, squeezing and praying. When she finally got to her parents' street, she started to run. Her back bounced against her hip. Her feet slapped against the dusty ground. She didn't care. She was going home. But when she got to the zinc gate, she stopped. The house has changed. The roof was new. Corrugated iron, not the old rusted zinc. The door has been painted blue. There was a satellite dish on the wall. And through the window, she could see a television, a big one. Her mother came out, wiping her hands on her wrapper. When she saw Adeze, her face lit up. Ada, my daughter, what a surprise. Why didn't you call? Is Chief with you? Adeze stood there, breathing hard. Mama, she said, her voice breaking, I need to tell you something. Ifeoma smiled flattered. She looked at Adeze's face, really looked, and for a moment, the mask of happiness slipped. She saw something, maybe the breeze, maybe the sadness, maybe the way her daughter was holding herself, like someone carrying a broken glass inside. What is it? Ifeoma asked, her voice suddenly small. Adeze opened her mouth. The words were right there, on the tip of her tongue. He beats me, Mama. He hurts me. Please let me stay. Please don't send me back. Then her father appeared in the doorway. He was wearing a new shirt, no missing buttons, and he looked healthier than he had ever seen him. His cheeks had flesh. His eyes had light. He was smiling. Ada, he said, opening his arms. Welcome, my daughter. Come and eat. Your mother made egusi soup. Real egusi. Adeze looked at her father's smile. She looked at the new roof. She looked at the television, still in its box, waiting to be installed. And she said, I just came to say hello. The chief is waiting for me. I cannot stay long. Ifeoma's face relaxed. Ah, okay. Let me pack some food for you. You know the chiefs like my stew. While her mother was inside, Adeze stood in the compound, looking at the place where she used to fetch water, where she used to boil yam, where she used to dream. Baby Ifeanyi came, toddling towards her, chubby and happy. Sis Ada, he said, reaching up with sticky fingers. She picked him up and held him close, burying her face in his hair. He smelled like everything she had lost. I love you, she whispered into his ear. I love you so much. When her mother came back with the food, Adeze took the plastic bag and walked back to the gate. She didn't look back. She couldn't. If she looked back, she would stay. And if she stayed, her family would lose everything. She got on the downfall and went back to the mansion. And she smiled at the security guard and went to her room. And she sat on the bed and she waited for the night. The breaking point came in the 10th month. It was a Sunday. Chief Odili had insisted they go to church, not their usual church, but a big one in the island, where the wealthy went to be seen. Adeze wore a purple dress with long sleeves and high neck, hiding everything. She wore makeup to cover the breeze on her jaw. She wore heels that hurt her feet. She wore a smile that hurt her soul. A woman came up to her, a young woman with kind eyes and a gentle voice. "You are Chief Odili's wife, right?" "I am Mrs. Eze. I sit 2 rows behind you." Adeze nodded, not trusting her voice. "I noticed you," Miss Eze said, lowering her voice. "You look tired. Are you okay?" Something flickered in Adeze's chest. Hope, the dangerous kind. "I am fine," she said quickly. "Thank you for asking." Mrs. Eze looked at her for a long moment, and then she reached into her purse and pulled out a small card. "This is my number," she said. "If you ever need to talk, or if you ever need help, call me anytime." Adeze took the card. Her finger brushed against Mrs. Eze's, and she felt something she hadn't felt in months. Kindness, real kindness without string attached. She hid the card in her bra, and she kept it there all through the service, all through the drive home, all through dinner. That night, after Chief Odili had fallen asleep in his quarters, she crept to the phone in the kitchen and dialed the number. Mrs. Eze answered on the second ring. "Mrs. Eze," Adeze whispered. "It is me, Chief Odili's wife. You gave me your card." "Yes, my dear. Are you okay?" Adeze took a breath. And then she told her everything. The abuse, the bruises, the kicks, the control, the loneliness, the way he made her feel like she was nothing, less than nothing, a piece of meat he had purchased and could discard whenever he wanted. Miss Eze listened and didn't interrupt. She didn't say, "Are you sure?" Or maybe you misunderstood. She just listened. And when Adeze finished, she said, "My dear, I believe you and I want to help you. But you have to be brave." Mrs. Eze said, "The chief is a powerful man. He will not let you go easily." "I know," Adeze said, "but I cannot stay here. I will die here." "Okay," Mrs. Eze said. "Tomorrow afternoon, he had a meeting at 2 o'clock. The driver will take him. Once he leaves you, you will call me. I will send a car. You pack only what you need and you leave. Do you understand?" "I understand." Adeze hung up the phone and went back to her room. For the first time in months, she slept without crying. But Chief Odili must have suspected something. The next morning, he was different, quieter, watching her. When she came down for breakfast, he was already at the table, staring at his phone. He didn't look up when she sat down. He didn't speak. The silence was heavy and suffocating. "Chief," she said softly, "are you okay?" He looked up then, and his eyes were cold. "I had a dream last night," he said. "You were leaving me. You were walking away and I couldn't stop you." Adeze's heart stopped. "It was just a dream, Chief." "Was it?" He stood up slowly, pushing his chair back. "Because I also checked the phone record this morning. There was a call last night from the kitchen phone at midnight." Adeze felt the blood drain from her face. "Chief, I can explain." "Who did you call?" "No one. I was trying to call my mother, but the line was off." He moved faster than she had ever seen him move. His hand closed around his throat, squeezing, lifting her up off the chair, her feet dangling in the air. She clawed at his hand, but his grip was iron. "Who did you call?" he repeated, his face inches from hers. His breath was hot and sore. Adeze couldn't breathe. Black spots danced in her vision. She tried to speak, but no sound came out, just a strangled gurgle. And then, suddenly, he let go. She collapsed on the floor, gasping for air, tears streaming down her face. Chief Odili stood over her, his chest heavy, his eyes wild. "You are nothing," he said quietly. "Do you understand? Nothing. I made you. I cannot make you. If you ever try to leave me, if you ever embarrass me, I will kill you. I will then kill your family, one by one, starting with that baby. What is his name? Ifeanyi?" Adeze looked up at him, and for the first time, she felt something other than fear. She felt hatred. Pure, cold, absolutely hatred. "You are a monster," she whispered. "Yes," he smiled, "but I am a rich monster. And you're a poor girl, remember that. He walked out of the room, and Adaeze laid on the floor, her hand on her throat, feeling the breezes forming. She knew then she would not make it tomorrow. It happened 3 days later. Chief Odili has been drinking since morning. Adaeze stayed in her room, doors locked, praying he would pass out. But at midnight, he heard his footsteps in the hallway. Heavy, unsteady, he stood in the doorway, swaying slightly, a bottle of whiskey dangling from his fingers. His shirt was unbuttoned, and his eyes were red, not from crying, but from the kind of rage that had been brewing for days, maybe years. He looked like a man who had finally decided that the thing in front of him was not a person, but a problem to be solved. Adaeze pressed her back against the wall. Her hands were flat against the cold painted surface, as if she could melt into it and disappear. Her heart was beating so fast she could feel it in her throat, in her temples, in the tips of her fingers. She thought of running, but where? The door was behind him. The window was 3 floors up. There was no escape. There had never been an escape. Chief, please, she whispered. I will be better. I will do whatever you say. Just don't. Don't what? Don't touch you? You're my wife. I can't.